How's it going, guys? Welcome back to the Q&A. Today we're joined with Mod Matt K.
All right.
Mod Jed.
Hey.
Mod Ghost.
Hello.
Mod Ash.
Hello.
And our newest addition to the team. Do you want to introduce yourself?
Yeah, hi, I'm Mod West.
Yay, I feel like we should clap.
The new one.
Hey, Mod West.
Yeah, alright. Cool, so a couple of introductory questions here. First of all, have you played RuneScape?
Yes.
You know what RuneScape
I've been
is?
playing since 2004, and then I stopped around 2011, 2012, and picked it up when Old School came out.
Cool.
Best answer.
Yeah, good choice.
At the same time as me. What were you doing before working here?
A few weeks ago, I just finished university, so I've just gone from there. Just had a really good 4 years doing a master's degree in games design.
So you weren't a soul singer before that
No,
in America or anything?
no, never done soul.
Alright, favorite content in Old School?
For myself personally, it'd be the achievement diaries because they gave me the most content, like goals and stuff. But like watching Deadman mode was like really entertaining, like watching the streams. So
You also really like the Achievement Diaries armor kits.
yes,
Did you really?
they're amazing.
We're on the same page.
Alright, one update you'd implement immediately if no one could stop you.
Fist of Guthics. I really enjoyed.
System.
What?
I really enjoyed that game.
Yeah.
It was,
Why did you like it?
it was just there's not many other sort of those sort of PvP environments anywhere else, and it was just fun to like run around and just dupe the person that was chasing you.
Should we poll whether Fist of Guthic should go into game or something? See if
me.
he,
Just
see if
so you're
you
aware,
agree.
we say Gothics, you can say whatever you like. Right. Fist of Gothics is easily the most asked question on this Q&A. So
It's not going to live with forever, you know. You can work here for 10 years. In 10 years' time, they're going to be, oh, that's Guthic's guy.
I've always said Guthics. I say most of the words wrong. I just
It's fine. Most people
Embrace
say
it.
Elysian as well.
There's a pronunciation
course.
video being made very soon that's well worth looking at.
I'm editing a video with some of your favorite JMods attempting to pronounce RuneScape words. It should be done early next week. It's going to be a really good video. Right, first project. Don't suppose you started on anything yet. You've only been here for a few days.
It certainly has. You've made some models already. haven't
yeah,
you?
I've been working on the treasure trail items. So I've done 4, I think, so far. So I've done a unicorn and like mostly taken heads off of creatures that are currently in there and just turn them into masks. So yeah.
Unicorn mask. Spoiler alert. All right, that's exciting. Is Mod Ghost a good teacher?
Yes. I didn't really know how to get the models into the game at all, and now I can do it really by myself without any help. So
Wow, literally a few days so far. So
That's more credit to him, to be honest. So I'm not going to take all of it.
all right, exciting stuff. Speaking of the treasure trail rewards and the spoilers, including the unicorn mask, etc., Mod Ghost will be taking you through a whole bunch. I don't know the exact number, but a whole bunch of stuff to come with the Master Clue Scrolls. So stay tuned for that. Happening at some point during the stream. Let's get into the actual questions then, shall we? First one. When will we learn more about the Deadman tournament?
On Saturday, there is the Summer Summit, which is happening. We're on 6 o'clock, aren't we? 6 o'clock BST on Saturday. Tune in to this channel, and Chris and Ronan will take you through all sorts of stuff we have planned for this summer, as well as what's happening with Deadman mode and a few other bits and bobs that you don't know about. So, 6 o'clock Saturday. Chris, tell you.
Yay. All right. So next question is from Champagne Jim, who asks, can we have the option to use keys 1, 2, 3, and 4 when traveling with the spirit tree?
I wouldn't mind trying to build that into the interface. Since that thing's used for potentially quite long lists, I think I put a cap of 256 on it, by the way, so it could be a very long scrolling list one day.
Cap
Only-
of 256. Was that?
Par. Only the first, 9, 10 would make sense to do, otherwise it's going to get rather inconvenient. I'd like to kind of rework the client script a bit so it can show you the number if it's got that enabled for it, so that you don't have to go counting and try and work out that's 5 or 6 and then find you've teleported to the wrong one. So yeah, not a minuscule job, but I think it'd be nice for quite a few menus that use it.
A lot of support in the chat for that one.
So,
Oh, good.
Got a sneeze? Nope. Nope. Okay, never mind. It's right there.
I'm bored.
Ezekiel, this is a very requested suggestion question today. Can we see a delay on removing the authenticator for accounts?
I've got a meeting with the account security team tomorrow. That's one thing I'll be raising. The issue is if there is a delay on removing the authenticator. If somebody hijacks your account, you don't have the authenticator on it, they then put the authenticator on it, then a real person will have a delay in getting the account back as well. There is also the issue of if somebody has really lost their phone or whatever method they use to authenticate their account, they can't actually get onto their account until that delay is gone. So I don't know what the facts are behind that. There could be lots of people that suffer from this problem, in which case, you know, we can't really make them wait, but we'll need to get some facts behind it, and hopefully I'll find that out tomorrow. It's about 11 o'clock, I think the meeting is tomorrow, so we'll raise it, see what they say. Probably some investigation will probably need to happen. I'll take it from there.
Okay. OSRS Skillor says, fix the Dragon Spear special attack. Again, this has come up. His suggestion is making the special attack like a regular bind, being a 5-second freeze and one push that is not stackable. I'm more in favor of the not stackable option, but we've said that the complicated thing here is if we pulled it, we don't think it would pass. Even
I
though
think we did pull it and it didn't pass.
There you go. This specific option at least. So
certainly, if we were programming a new attack like that these days, I'm pretty sure that's about the design we'd have gone with.
it's kind of hard to say. Well, we pulled it and it didn't pass, so now we're just going to do it. Too bad. But you guys are very vocal about this. Anyways, next question. RS Jack asks, can we have an update with the Slayer Cape emote for something more fitting? Requesting its change to killing an Abbey demon, and then ripping out its spine, and then holding it as a whip.
That sounds pretty
Currently,
cool.
it is the Turoth climbs up your back and you throw it up in the air and jump on it, don't you?
Something of the
So
sort.
something like that.
Do you juggle a Turoth or it juggles you?
How do we feel about changing, you know, content?
Toggle. They want a toggle.
Yeah,
I
they
just
want a
can
toggle.
tell they're all going to want a toggle
I
for
hope
that
you
one.
wouldn't toggle this. I mean,
Well, you'd hope that also, but
But they will want to toggle, yeah. I'm wondering whether, depending on what capes you've got, you can have different animations for each one, maybe.
I
So
mean,
if you've got
For the trimmed.
all the combat type ones, then it makes all the combat type ones differently. If you've got all the skill type ones, it makes all the skill type ones differently. So you actually have to collect a set, maybe. I don't know.
I think they
It's-
did that for RS3.
Oh, we won't do that then.
Yeah.
Well, that's just sort of spitballing sort of other ways of getting more variations around the stuff you can get with capes.
spitball.
Spitballing, yeah. You did talk rubbish
Is this
until
like a
somebody
meter?
says it's a
Oh,
good
I see.
idea.
well, I'd be interested in a straw poll actually, because I imagine, if I was a Slayer Cape owner, I don't know. It kind of looks like a bit of a hunter one. You kind of just pull this thing off your back.
Yeah, this is a really cool concept for an animation. Like,
This is
Yeah.
like is it too grotesque? Do you think for us? You slay an Abbey demon, rip out its spine, and then use it as a weapon.
We're not allowed to show human blood, but we can certainly show other things like demons and that kind of look fantastical being torn to pieces. Not really an issue.
So if it has green blood, it's okay.
Yeah, we could do, well, we don't need to do blood even really. We can just make it so you tear a object out of it that looks like the Abyssal Whip and it falls on the floor dead. It's the most sort of PG way I can think to do it.
Nice.
One of the first things you do is rip the head off Elvarg, so
Yeah.
it seems acceptable.
That's quite gross.
Should we straw poll that then? Yeah. So would you like the Slayer Cape emote changed to being killing an abyssal demon and then ripping out the spine and holding the whip
And the old emote removing.
and removing? That's the old emote.
We can't have one cape with two emotes and the other's not. It's got to be definitive.
Talk about the PG stuff as well, which I see a few of you mentioning. It's not just a case of being suitable for children, but different countries and playing different games in different countries have different rules, so we've got to abide by all that. So I think Germany is one that has very strict rules on what blood you can show and what have you.
Australia's really strict as well.
Australia as well. So yes, we've got to sort of deal with the international market when it comes to those sort of things. Otherwise, they don't like our game being there.
And possibly for people who don't know what PG stands for, what's the equivalent in other countries?
I have absolutely no idea. There's basically children, effectively, suitable for children. There is also, in this country, we have a department called the Advertising Standards Agency, which also monitor our game, whether it's suitable for youngsters, because youngsters play it. So lots of laws and legal stuff we have to worry about. But
don't we have an age requirement though already on the game?
Yeah, that's more to do with the American law about collecting information on children, which is under 13. I'm trying to remember what it was called.
Children's Online Privacy Protection Act.
No.
Oh, the other one.
Yeah, it's the other one. Effectively, it's COPPA, that's it.
That is a Children's Online Privacy
There we go,
Protection
yeah.
Act, so no, apparently.
Yeah. There's a COPPA in this country and something else in America. Anyway, whatever law in America to collect information based on children, we have to abide by that as well. Because if you're going to do business in America, which we do because Americans play the game, we have to abide by their laws as well. So,
I think back when Mortal Kombat came back out in the early 90s, there was like a big sort of hoo-ha about the fact that Sub-Zero ripped someone's spine out and held it up. So, you know, we're kind of treading the same ground there, really, aren't we?
Okay, so no spine. How about intestines?
Yeah, we can
Looks
do
about the
intestines.
same.
At least it's not a spine.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, we've just straw polled the spine idea, which I like more because the Abyssal Whip is actually the spine of an Abbey Demon. It's at 91%, so you guys really like that. Is that 91? 92?
Yeah.
It's up there.
Right.
You guys really like that. That's cool. All right, next question. V-Bear asks, add favor requirement for Necromancy teleport tabs. Might be trivial to get 100% favor, but it should be required.
I think a lot of people wanted that because of Barrows, and we've seen that it hasn't actually had a huge impact. I mean, there were already teleports quite close to Barrows, and this is marginally closer.
Yeah.
If that's the only reason they wanted a favor requirement, which I don't think is 100% anyway for the spellbook, then I don't see there being too big a reason to have it.
You might like
Okay.
devalue the Mauritania Legs rewards, because that gives you the teleport to the town just next to it.
Yeah. All right, well,
Well,
if you're
what-
upset about that, blame Jed.
Or Berg de Rot.
Yeah, that one.
Okay.
All right, next question. Our Noises asks, can you add the Ring of Recoil effect to the Ring of Suffering? The Ring of Suffering is currently not worth its price, and this would make it a ring that could hold more recoil charges, unbreakable, and would be rechargeable with sapphires.
We did talk about having a higher cap on the Ring of Recoil through something else where you would be able to consume
Dragonstones.
Yeah, anything. And just
They want us to consume Dragonstones occasionally.
yeah.
I just say Frank or Z. Okay, go on.
Anyway, so it would be nice to do something with the Ring of Suffering. It's been suggested quite a few times that we give it an imbue. People suggest different things for what the imbue could be. One of the simpler ones that came in was just to change all its bonuses from whatever they are to 30. But giving it a sort of infinite recoil effect if you feed it enough sapphires, whatever, would also be possible.
I really
Look
like
at all
that
of them at
idea.
once and make it a ring of, well, extreme suffering.
How many could you stack in there? Could you throw like 1,000 sapphires at it and have it last a very long time then?
Don't see why not. I mean, if it was one charge per sapphire, then that would be a little extreme. But if it was 30 charges per sapphire, then we could probably let you stick in a good, well, 100 million or so before.
Panic
hitting
buy
any-
sapphires.
um,
Genuinely.
before it hits any kind of limit, depending on what kind of exchange rate we give you.
Yeah, that's a cool idea. I like that.
Of course, if you lose it, then all the charges go with it. Then you might be very annoyed. That would be amusing.
Yeah, or you run back to where you died and have 1,000 sapphires on the ground. Trying to pick
Unnoted.
as many as possible. Unnoted, yeah. All right, next question.
That's actually why we had a fairly low cap on something on the Soul Bearer, I think it was, so that you can't stick, 2 billion runes into it and then risk losing the whole lot at once. We capped it at a mere 1,000 or so. Sorry, carry on.
It's all right. Iron Fire asks, can the agility shortcut to the cosmic altar be improved? Right now, it's not better than the lower level shortcut in terms of what time it takes to get to the altar.
One of the suggestions was simply to delete one of the two dart things, the speary things that you go through, because it's got two and that makes it quite slow to get through, which means that the lower level shortcut a bit further along the corridor is actually better in terms of speed, although you might use more run energy going back and forth to it. Thing is, ever since we got some of the perks on the quest cape, I'm not sure that's been such a big deal anymore.
Yeah, a lot of support, surprisingly.
Well, it would make a shortcut a bit faster to use, so I can't see a big problem. Of course, making a shortcut that leads to a rune crafting altar quicker to use can affect XP rates, but like I was saying, the quest cape perks might mean that's not such a big deal anymore.
Okay, point. Just got another question here asking, can the Tears of Guthix requirement for the hard Lumbridge diaries be a bit easier? 100 is quite difficult, and it's frustrating having to wait another week to attempt again.
I never like making things easier.
I did that one first try, so it's not
Oh.
hard.
There you go.
Wrecked.
Challenge.
Just do more quests and you get more time.
#EasyScape.
Yeah.
What one could do is let them go into the cave as many times as they like, but not receive anything for drinking the tears if they're on that diary task. I mean, it's not exactly assigned, but Juna could let them practice if they're eligible to do the task and haven't done it yet.
Yeah.
Bit like when you go in for Death to the Auction, you just have to get 20 tears in as much time as you like, which is really not much of a challenge, but she makes you do it anyway.
Okay. Donald Trump asks, can you guys buff Zogre coffins to include less junk and also add brutal darts, which can be used with the blowpipe on Zogres for full damage?
Do many people do that sort of thing?
No, that's why he's
I like
asking
the
for a
idea
buff.
of maybe buffing the chest so people might actually do it. I don't know what the implications of the blowpipe would be.
Well, the blowpipe can handle more variants of darts.
But why would they want to dart Zogres?
It doesn't make sense
Maybe.
just to give it a direct buff to the blowpipe. I guess it is darts and not directly with the blowpipe, but that's obviously where they're going to go.
Making brutal arrows is what you might call a pain. So if there was some way of getting things that could kill Zogres, and you could then use it, you kill the Zogres to get more of those keys to get more of the stuff that you can use to kill Zogres, and there was something worth having in the chests, as per suggestion, then that might become a useful activity, unlike what it is.
Okay, I like that. Firegun asks, any update on making Old School run on multiple cores or use graphics cards?
That is still being talked about. Nothing more really to say about that.
Are they even talking about it?
It's something we've
Graphics
talked.
cards.
It's something we've no graphics cards are something that players talked about for a long time. We've been in sort of detail about why that would be difficult to do.
Sure.
The alternative is obviously multi-core. The issue being is if you've got a monitor that's absolutely massive. Old School runs on a single core, and if you're bringing the information up into a big monitor, it makes it difficult to play. Multi-core technology is the better way of doing it than actually remaking the entire game and or doing all the graphics stuff that we have to do to put it into a graphics card and make it look nice. But that is still stuff being talked about. There's no plans for release dates or anything else. It's on the list of things to do. It'd be lovely to do it all. And hopefully, shortly, we will be able to get our job spec up for the second engine developer.
And that
then
way we
can-
get more from the engine team.
Yes, exactly. So we are expanding engine development, but it's going to take time to find somebody, so we've got to be realistic about it. As soon as the job spec's up, people will apply, and we have to wait till we get the right person.
In case people are wondering, it's not so we could have like better graphics, it's just so things would run a lot faster as opposed to relying on the processor.
Yeah, because Old School was created in the days when people didn't tend to have dual core processors in their computers. This was written to run on low-spec computers in a browser in 2004, preferably on cheap computers, because that's what could run RS Classic.
Yeah. But so I mean, things have changed and people have their multi-core computers and they have their massive screens, which causes problems. So we will have to deal with that going forward, certainly. But when, don't know yet.
Okay, I look forward to when we have an engine team and not an engine guy.
Yes, it will be nice, won't it? Will be nice.
A couple questions here from Evan, who asks, could Charlie Brown, the priest in the Southern Hosidius Church, be able to bless holy symbols for a player with or without the 31 prayer requirement?
We added a priest and called him Charlie Brown.
I think it's one of them memes that appeared on Zaya.
Oh, is this dank?
It is.
Thank you, now I know. Yes, he could be given that feature.
I don't think the answer to that question was important anymore after that, was it?
Do people still know who Charlie Brown is?
I'd hope so.
Are we talking about the
I'm
Peanuts
feeling
character?
old.
Yeah.
No. Are we? I thought we were talking about Snoopy's owner.
That is
Yeah,
the Peanuts
Peanuts,
character.
yeah.
That is the peanut thing.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
What do I know? Apparently I don't know.
Yeah. All right. Okay, he had a follow-up question asking, could the crashed boat south of Piscarilius have 2 regular plank spawns? Currently, there is no way to get regular planks on the entire continent. Why this is relevant is because I think he has a Zaya only Iron Man.
This is
So
Apparently that
makes
is a
sense.
thing, and yeah, if we stick a few standard planks in the game somewhere for the one Zaya, that will help quite a lot.
To address the plank thing, I think we were even considering having a sawmill in the new woodcutting guild that's coming up.
That's cool.
So we might be able to make them there.
Beautiful.
That's a good idea.
If you're going to confirm that, then we don't need to worry about sticking planks other places.
Yeah.
That guy was quite obsessed with planks, though. I think he really wants them.
Yeah, I saw
He
the
had, like
rest of the stuff.
six suggestions for put planks here.
Yeah,
And now he's got the house portal, so you can actually use him.
Flankscape. Padosa asks, can we have a small buff to rusted swords and damaged armor? Give better rates for rune/addy rewards and add a potential for a dragon reward at a very rare rate. That'd be something.
It would
Get these things
add-
from Ham.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It
Don't know
would,
about
would
dragons.
add a more for purpose for them, I guess, wouldn't it?
Maybe people would go to Tyndall merchants.
It's probably quite lonely.
He
What
is
kind of
quite-
crazy rate would you like to throw in these? 1 in a million? For a 40k?
Yes. Why not? Ask
I
John if we wanted
forgot.
2.5 million.
Yeah.
Moving on.
Okay, moving on, sure. Swagmaster, that's his actual name, asks, can you make it so that the zombies on Harmony Island stop attacking you at higher combat? They're level 57, and it's really annoying when they attack you at the herb patch.
Yeah, we'd be up for making that be different after you've done the quest, of course, so as not to make the quest easier. I think we did intend to put that one on a poll rather than just making the patch easy to use globally without asking first, though. It's down on the suggestions for future polls. Wouldn't take very long to do either.
You'd still make it so they were higher than, what, 114 combat, though, right?
Well, we weren't looking at changing the combat of them so much as just making them non-aggressive if you had done the quest.
Right, but isn't it so that NPCs are not aggressive towards you if you're double their combat level?
It is, but that can be overridden for these particular
right.
zombies on that particular
Okay.
island.
Next question. Boulder Falcon asks, could some higher level spells based on Crumble Undead be added to the Necromancy spellbook? Higher level spells that give additional effectiveness towards undead or necromancy creatures that have a high spell cost.
So that's combat spells on the Necromancy spellbook, is it?
That's something which has never seemed to have gone down well in the past, has it, Ash?
Well, while we wouldn't mind, and it wouldn't be very hard for us to do, the thing about the Necromancy spellbook is, are you seriously going to be wanting that one active for doing a lot of combat with? I suppose since the player said it's specifically for the creatures that you raise with Necromancy spellbook, you actually might. Unless we went and gave them fairly high magic defense or something because they were kind of mystical. We might have done that. Sorry if we did. By the way, I've no strong objection to it, but it's not likely to become, the Uber combat spellbook to compete with the standard spellbook's combat spells and the ancient magic's combat spells. So we never tried to turn it into a combat spellbook at all. But we could have done.
Okay. I think if you were going to, this probably makes the most sense.
If it was specifically for use against those creatures that you resurrect, then that would probably be the only way it could make sense.
Right. Got a question from the chat here, from Monsoon, who says, please tell Mod Ghost the Slayer helms look amazing.
Oh, that's really nice. Thank you very much. I'm glad you like them.
All right. Next question then. OSRS Brian says, show the limit for items on the Grand Exchange. Not a question, more of a demand.
Yeah.
That might be another one we could add to that web list we were putting together.
Yes, yeah, no, I'll add that list. Can't see a reason not to, really. Because the item, the
Frankly, if the players ask us, we tend to tell them what the answer is anyway,
Yeah,
and half
exactly.
the time they can tell, because if they've hit the limit, it's very obvious. We just don't have the information being output through any system they can search at the present
No,
time.
I'll chat with the web team to give the list of things that they're going to get. If they're watching that you don't know about yet, the list of things which are heading your way.
Well, we can send any requests we like, and the answer hasn't always been yes, any more than it has been from us.
Yes.
Right. Gled says, could you please release a tentative update calendar? Nothing binding, just to quell the when is this update coming out questions.
Problem with that is, as soon as we go out with the calendar, everybody takes it as binding. So even if we put it in big red writing,
This
this
not
may
binding.
change. People will ignore the big red writing, even if they have to click accept I have read that this may change and understand it before I even look at it. They will forget that completely and they will say, oh, well, you said it will be on the 18th of January and it's now 19th of January, it's not out. What the hell, Jagex? Blah, 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 blah. I'm posting
took
on
the
Reddit,
day off
you're all
school and
failures,
everything.
Please fire yourselves, That's what happened, so we will come out with things such as...
No offence.
Yeah, no offence. We'll come out with things such as, we expect to see it in May, June, to the end of summer, beginning of summer. As we get closer and closer, we'll get more and more accurate. But we're not going to put out a calendar and say, there you go.
All right. Fixmaster says, could we see further development for the disease mechanic? It is currently only afflicted by a few monsters in the game and is relatively unknown. Says there's actually a follow-up suggestion to that saying, Zenite bolts could disease since the gem is the same color.
The thing about disease is that once you've got it on you, you really need Reliston's Balm to get rid of it again, or death. So we've kind of had a rule ever since Zoga Flesh Eaters came out that we wouldn't allow people to come into contact with disease unless they'd got the quest requirements to sort themselves out. And that's not a bad idea, really.
Sorry, I was
Maz
doing
is
mic stuff
waving.
again. It's me and my mic every fortnight.
Have you been
roughly.
touching your chin?
I just
Are you
went
missing
like,
someone?
I got an itch and just went
Oh,
straight across
bloody.
my chest.
Ah, yes. Well,
Sorry.
at least he wasn't touching his chin. We've had artists like that. So, if we, provided any content we put on with disease has a quest lock of Zoga Flesh Eaters on it so that people can actually cure themselves, that's fine. Trouble with Zoga Flesh Eaters, though, is it's a bit of a pain in the wasp name. So we've never really like bunging a constant requirement for mini games or wilderness content.
Okay. Next question. Slayer Masters asks, can players that have obtained all 3 Dagonoth King pets be able to shrink them and later combine them into one pet with all 3 kings beside each other?
You know, if you have 3 puppies in real life, you can't actually combine them into one
Maybe
3 head.
they could use their crafting skill to stitch them together.
So
And that's how Cerberus
oh
came
my
about.
god.
yeah, that's horrible.
It's like the
The
human
way-
centipede for puppies, isn't it?
I didn't
Yeah.
need that thought.
Sorry, it
Right.
just
So the
is.
way he explained it, he sounded like you like kind of melt them, and then they form into one. But no, I think he was actually asking for more of a Doug trio
Like
style.
3 little ones following you
Yeah.
around.
Oh, I see.
I'm
If we
hoping you
shrunk
guys
them
know
down that small,
Doug
we would
Trio.
lose all the detail, I think. There's like a limit to how small
Yeah.
things can be.
Okay, so the other option is KBD style, 1 body, 3 heads.
Sorry.
There's nothing wrong with that.
They seem to have responded quite strongly to this suggestion.
One way or t'other. Yeah.
Yes.
Okay. Well, there's that.
Move on.
Moving on.
Oh,
Um,
someone's put up 3 heads of a dog on the chat. I like that. Maybe there'll be a new emote turning up soon, which looks like, well, 3 dog heads in 1 emote.
Mod Ash likes dog emotes. There goes the chat.
Yeah.
Yeah. What's that forever?
Next question. I live on a pirate ship. Says, can we get a Zamorak version of the Holy Sandals for the Clue Scroll expansion? Would be very useful at Aviances and the Armadyl side of God Wars.
Sure. Wow. Artists.
I guess it could be another treasure trail reward for the new upcoming.
We're doing them at the moment, so what's another?
Yeah, exactly.
Would you want to think of a different bonus? So currently they just give prayer experience. Or
I think they want the
bonus.
prayer experience. No, yeah, they want the prayer bonus, don't they? That's what
Yeah.
they're down
Is
there
there anything
for.
else you would give though, considering it's Cerdamin and Zamorak? Some sort of other bonus, or just keep it the same?
I'm not sure. I think like for the design side of things, I'm just gonna stay out of it and keep my head down, making the 160 odd assets that we have to do in 2 weeks, and I'll leave the rest to Kieran. Or you can jump in and help out if you want with that too.
Yeah.
See, I think it'd be quite cool
Might
if
be.
you've got them on, it changes your home teleport emote. Home teleport animation. So you
So
have
like-
Sarah Diamond come and take you away, and Zamrak come and take you away.
I feel like we're giving Kieran extra work, and he's not here to defend himself. to be honest.
I think it'd be more work for you than for him.
Oh,
Yeah, the emote definitely
I am
would be.
here to defend myself, so we're not doing it.
Ecumenical sandals, though. I can just see it. Like any other sandals, really, but with no alignment to any of the gods.
That would be an ecumenical sandal.
Yes. Well, in fact, it'd be aligned to all the gods at once, in a true spirit of ecumenism.
That sounds OP.
Yes.
Next question. Lord Gozer has music requests, quite a few of them. He says, there was an audio update in 2008 involving how music was played when traveling through the world. He says, today the area associated with each song is only 64 tiles by 64 tiles. I'm asking for less frequent changes of music tracks by rearranging the music map into larger areas like genres, such as Varrock or Mauritania, where a random track and the player is unlocked associated. You get the idea, there's a lot here.
So, to do stuff with music, in particular changing what might trigger it to have, say, another track start when the first one ends that isn't the same track looping. At the moment, the game does not know very reliably when a track ends, and it could in 2008 to write those updates you're describing. The game engine was updated with a feature that tells us when the player's current track finishes. At the moment, you may have occasionally noticed, right, that the music looping doesn't happen at the right time. It either doesn't happen at all or it happens too soon. And what's happening there is that the game remembered when it started the track and tries to guess when it'll finish based on how long the track is. And that, of course, isn't always very good because sometimes, you know, you get a level up jingle or you'll turn the volume off and on again, things like that. The game can't track all that, so it doesn't know when the track finishes and it tries to start the loop at the wrong time. If we start doing something more elaborate with music, especially some of the playlist ideas we've had over the years, or the shuffle ideas, or just playing music of a given genre one after another, or you're in an area of that type, it's going to matter a lot more that you only got half the track before the next one started. At the moment we kind of get away with it because music looping isn't, shall we say, the most critical feature in RuneScape. But if we're going to try and make a feature like this work, as the player is describing it, it should probably work properly. So if we can get that engine feature, which we can given dev time, then we can have a lot more of this stuff. I know I'd love writing it because it would be a lot better than the code we've currently got for music looping. But I've never felt that stopping the engine team from all the other things people want from them to have them do stuff for music is the best use of dev time because people want a lot of engine things and there's not that much need for the music to be more polished for its looping and for its playlist features. I think I've said enough about that.
All right, he had a few more. Also, apparently,
Should we talk about it some more?
apparently you're a Modash Junior because you also have glasses.
Oh,
Oh, is that how it works?
Yeah, apparently so.
There
I'm
you
down
go.
with that.
Okay.
Was that
wanna
from
just-
Pol Pot?
What?
Never mind.
Missed that. We'll just quick fire a few of these other ones. I'm not going to go too in depth. A right-click option on individual tracks. Wow, tracks with info on where to unlock specific songs.
That we can have.
Okay, cool. A counter for tracks unlocked with the music player, which says unlocked, and then giving a date.
Not the date, but we can say how many.
I think that's what he has. He has X out of Y.
Yeah, that's what it seems to be.
Oh, that sounds a bit more like it.
Shuffle button.
Covered.
Ability to add a playlist with favorite songs.
Covered.
Yeah. All right.
Because I
Next
read his
question.
questions in advance, see.
iMake asks, you mentioned the possibility of making salamanders one-handed. For a weapon with such high requirements, they really do need a buff.
Did you think that as well?
What?
I'm not sure now. I'm just imagining somebody with a salamander in their hand waving it.
Yeah, I swear we did this last week. I swear we did.
Yeah.
I was
Yeah.
just imagining all the poor salamanders in game maimed with just one hand, not being able to move.
Oh, right.
Oh, that's quite cool.
Well, that would make him easier to hunt.
All right. Well, he has a different suggestion here. He says he proposes increasing the attack range of that to the halberd for rapid and long range whilst keeping accurate with a one-tile range. Now,
That
long
should be
range
possible.
makes sense. Rapid, not so much, but hey.
All the same, I bet we could manage it. The thing is, with a salamander, it's not just about rapid or long range, it's about the melee or ranged or magic.
Right.
And there's, obviously melee should be kind of melee style, but the ranged and magic ones, there's no rule saying they couldn't have been more than one tile's worth. I'm pretty sure we can do that. We just, for whatever reason, didn't back in 2006 when the skill turned up.
Okay, that'd be interesting if we let them use those at Zulrah. That's dangerous thinking. Should we carry on?
Well, I was just wondering whether we could revisit the question of what you can use against Zulrah. The fact that Zulrah's kills have always been a lot faster than we really wanted, which is why the wealth has always been so high and why we've therefore not added updates to help them get back to the place faster than they currently can. That kind of thing makes me not want to enable melee against it,
Right.
but it's not a sticking point.
Okay. All right. Next question. Void Outpost asks, can the freezing animation for ZGS not be shown if you hit a 0? This would be especially helpful at Sarah God Wars and PvP.
Would make sense to do that. I can imagine people get confused with it, so whether we can or not.
Oh yeah. Well, fairly reliably. There's a lot of side effects applied to combat, modifying which damage you've done, like Slayer, which makes you do 0 damage if you didn't have the level to fight the thing in the first place. So things like that might get in the way a bit, but mostly this could be made to work.
Okay, people
What's Jed
saying,
think?
people saying unmute Jed. I think you should ask the question from the chat there.
Okay.
You can't read that, can you?
No.
Jed's blind. It says, Maz's question of the stream, do all mods have Ghost Speak amulet to speak with Mod Ghost?
This isn't actually an amulet, it's a microphone.
It's
With,
not-
used it
it's
to speak with you, in fact.
It's not actually
I asked
real
the question
ghost
for you,
either,
didn't I?
so,
Yeah.
you know.
Just to confirm, no, but they do need an appointment.
Okay. How about this next one's for Jed then? So James says, is the Nightmare Zone Camel Hard boss bugged? He ice barrages you so much that you cannot auto-retaliate. The only way to kill him is by spam clicking him. Would like to see a fix. Or so, a
I
nerf.
think that's to do with the ice barrage code on NPCs, which I've been looking at recently, and hope they'll be sorted out soon.
The code on Camo himself in the quest is not the way we'd write it these days, so it may indeed not be functioning the way you'd expect a monster to these days. But I'm pretty sure that it's, that they all call the same whether they're a Nightmare Zone or not.
Okay. Next question.
Certainly
Sand-
should do anyway. Sorry, carry on.
That's all right. Sandeater asks, how big would the LMS arena be if it passes the poll? Another one for Jed.
I think it's 2 by 2 map squares. The
What's
first
that in
map
terms
anyway.
of things players can...
Apatoll.
Yeah.
I think it's about the size of Apatoll. And if it is successful, I hope it will be, and we get some engine time assigned to it, might be able to increase the size of instances, in which case we could have bigger maps at some point.
Could we have bigger raid dungeons if that was the case as well?
Yes. If
That'd be
we
great.
got bigger instances, we could put more stuff in them.
Okay. I think another example would be fight pits. Is that right?
For 2 by 2.
What's that?
The fight
No,
caves.
it's not that big. The fight
Fight
cave is only
caves.
1 by 1.
Oh,
And the fight pit itself is less than 1 by 1.
Is it really? Okay, wow.
It's just all wiggly and you can't see the walls very well because of the texture it uses.
We need that effect.
It's like trying to measure a zebra when you're standing on the zebra.
Right, but I say zebra.
Oh, that's the problem, yes.
Next question. OSRS Knight asks, can the Abyssal Dagger special attack be revisited? It doesn't even have a niche use at the moment.
Does it not?
Apparently not.
It's
Probably
not
should
used
look
very
at it
much.
again then, shouldn't we?
It's still quite expensive.
It is quite expensive, so yeah.
I was going to say that was so expensive when it came out as well.
I think we offered a buff to it, and then it wasn't a very big buff. So we could have offered a bigger one. And we certainly could again. The question would be whether they like more damage, more accuracy, less cost, so they can do it more often, although that could be quite dangerous.
I like the idea of more of a niche use, so just used for a
It's a
specific
dagger,
thing.
it goes in a niche.
If you have a suggestion to buff the Abyssal Dagger, we're all ears. Mila asks, can demonic gorillas drop Zenite bolts enchanted? These bolts would be a hybrid between onyx bolts and sapphire bolts, meaning they could smite a bit of prayer points and heal the user.
See, Maz was shaking her head. I don't know if that was in reaction to the question.
That's because Maz knows all about the crossbow bolt code.
There we go.
The engine wasn't quite as advanced back in the old days when it was first written, so it's another thing that's not quite up to current standard and not fun to work with. Mind you, the request was to make the gorillas drop them enchanted, right? Would we not, if we were doing such a thing, keep them dropping as is and use one of your other skills, like magic, to enchant them? It's the kind of thing we'd more normally do if we wanted to enchant them.
Unless he
Makes
knew the struggles of actually enchanting it on the dev side, and just wanted to skip that part.
I'm not scared of it. On the other hand, I also know I'm busy on raid dungeons for the next few months, so if anyone were going to do it, it probably wouldn't be me. How are you feeling?
I'm busy as well. It's going to have to go down to Maz.
We're training Kieran.
I don't think, honestly, if we were to pull that, it would pass.
I think
a
you're
little
right
OP smiting and healing.
Yeah,
It's a cool idea.
yeah.
All right, next question. Sheeleek says, can we get a dragon harpoon from some aquatic boss on Zaya? Maybe a whirlpool dungeon that leads to a slightly better catch rate than a regular or barbtail harpoon, but special attack that gives you +3 fishing, similar to the dragon pickaxe.
Okay, I am scared of the harpoon code.
Underwater boss. So we talked about underwater stuff in the past.
It's
haven't
kind
we?
of
always something
uncanny
nice to
because
do.
we've talked about a whirlpool dungeon before as well, didn't
Yeah,
we?
absolutely.
Well, we've technically got one. It's where the mithril dragons are.
Yeah.
No, fair enough. I don't think, because the same answer that we gave at the time, really, there's so much space on there, there's no really need to sort of like take people just to the side of it for another area that's kind of
Yeah.
underneath it.
That said, the fact that we've got an underwater wall kit knocking about just south of the Godwars dungeon that we've never put players in has always made me want more underwater stuff just because we've got it.
Oh, maybe that's a thing for raids, maybe.
I like the idea of underwater being if we did like a pirate update or something like that on Zaya, and then really sort of go all out and make it very sort of nautical. If we're going to do it, sort of like do it properly as opposed to just a dungeon over there that's kind of a bit.
Yeah, no, that makes a
aquatic.
lot more sense. Yeah, absolutely.
In terms of the actual harpoon and what it can do to fishing, yes, we certainly could. It would probably affect the XP rates from anything that you do with harpoons in the game, but I don't think those are the maximum XP activities anyway,
Right.
in most cases. So I wouldn't be too concerned about it.
So it would be a wieldable dragon harpoon with a special attack.
Well, it's not like people wield the dragon hatchet for combat purposes.
Right. I'm just saying you could, in theory, fight somebody with it.
Yeah.
Don't see why not. We just make it handle like a sword, albeit a
Just poke 'em
fairly
with it.
lame sword. But I think the special attack they might expect will be what we did with the dragon pickaxe and the dragon hatchet,
Right.
where it makes you wave the thing around briefly, and then you have a stat boost for a while. So it'd be like a fishing potion, and of course, fishing potions are a real thing, whereas woodcutting potions were not so much.
Okay. When do you want to head over to do your master class?
End of the
physical
stream.
expansion?
So probably about
Probably
10 minutes?
10 minutes? Sure.
Actually, it's quite long, 5 minutes. Yeah, that's fine.
That's fine. We've got plenty of suggestions. So, I'd like to switch over to the suggestions and probably a few more questions just to make sure our guys are okay with that. Yep. All
I
right.
see someone's commented about the smashing special attack on the dragon utility that already exists. For what it's worth, we made it shout smashing because my original suggestion of rock knocker was not considered acceptable. I regret that still.
You know, the dragon axe, I was going to say hatchet. The dragon axe has one of the coolest special attacks, like the dark light. And it's not useful for anything. It's kind of a shame.
Bringing it back quickly to the abyssal dagger question, it's a suggestion from Fake Jed about making it more useful against abyssal creatures, which I think that would be a niche.
It would.
Making
and,
the abyssal dagger useful against the abyssal creatures.
and people often do want to go back for more pouches.
Yeah.
Okay. Right, so let's get a few questions out of the way, then we'll get to these suggestions. So, Sean says, can we see an Entrena boss/demi-boss? Would be pretty cool to see how well a boss could be tackled using only gear you could acquire on the island.
Isn't that part of the quest? Lost City quest?
Well, yes,
The boss
technically,
of
the Lost City quest involves you having to kill that tree spirit. Having
It's
gone
not
for night-
difficult though, to be fair.
I wouldn't really call that a boss, yeah.
No, we technically did in Nightmare Zone, but we could certainly add something a bit more interesting. Or you could just walk into the wilderness through that portal at the other end of the dungeon and see how interesting it gets for you.
Yeah.
But yeah, we could have something not associated with the Draven Tree on the other side, or something you can do after you've killed the tree spirit where it comes back for revenge.
Really, the tree spirit's father or something.
I like the idea that you said there where it comes back for revenge because it just keeps it still relevant, the content.
Well, also, I don't know, we've got a Draven Tree and a tree spirit, so the son of the tree could be a bush with a bush spirit, so that whatever that would turn out to be.
Could it burn?
Yes, it could be a burning bush.
What? Alright, next question.
And then you kill it. That's.
I'll ask him for a Lost City
I'm not sure
2
where we're going with
quest
this
next.
thought.
I didn't add that last bit. That was him.
I'll talk about Lost City 2 quest at the moment, which again is another quest thing we could go down.
Yes, how to lose it again.
Yes, there's multiple sort of quest lines we can sort of expand that we've talked about sort of in the last few days, haven't we? Such as another small favour, or
Got a few
my
favours
favourite
more.
take on it is you know one massive favour and then you just have to pick up something off the table and give it to the bloke. or what was the other ones we were talking about? We were talking about another small favour. Desert Treasure 2 was another one we were talking about, weren't we?
So
That's
that's
what
one
I'm
I
reading
didn't want
for.
to talk
Yeah.
about.
Yeah, that's the one you don't want to do, yeah. And again, another one just for Zaya as well. So there's all sorts of quests we could do to tie into new content.
Do you think, because some people, well actually quite a lot of people when we were doing Zaya said that they'd like something to do with soften him as an alternative. Do you reckon if we did a quest over there, that way it's like right on the other side of the map and kind of does something with that?
Yeah.
It would give us an excuse to put something in Menethos, something that every RuneScape should try at some point,
Yeah.
and finish off that coastline, which currently isn't, and get rid of the big black hole you've got down the south end of your desert.
I'd like to do that a lot actually.
Yeah.
So I'll tell you what would be an interesting thing to ask them through a straw poll is what would they like to see most? Would it be Desert Treasure 2? I'll have to wait for Mouse to catch up with typing.
Wasn't that storyline already explored though?
Don't know, was it?
Well, given that what you got in Desert Treasure 1 was Azanadra, and there's a whole lot of story in RS3 about what he went and did, we might find ourselves a little bit constrained by the lore there.
That's why we can go down different lore, can't we? I'm sure. So Desert Treasure 2, what we're looking at? Desert Treasure 2, another small favour. What did I just mention? Zaya quest, Soften quest. And see what they think they want to do.
I would love to put something in Menethos from a Sophanum quest,
Yes.
Yeah, okay, that'd be the best.
because it was never really concluded in any meaningful way in any quest I can think of.
I think it's just really popular with the players as well from a lot of the articles I read on Reddit around the time, so if it still is, then that'd be nice, because it just pleased the community a lot
Sheep
more.
Shearer 2. How about Sheep Herder 2?
We've got a sheep herder too, technically. It's the Morning's End quest, where you uncover what it was you were doing in the first one.
I just want to prod more sheep around.
I hated that. It
Yeah.
took me ages. I just couldn't get to grips with it all.
It was quite easy in Classic.
That's
Yeah,
quite
there you go.
fascinating watching it go up from
Desert
there.
Treasure, obvious winner.
Is it really?
Yeah.
Yeah, of course.
Okay.
Desert
That's because they're
Treasure.
thinking
Come
of the
on, soften
reward.
him.
Because
I
they think they're
wanna
going to
do
get a new
Yeah.
OP spellbook.
Yeah.
It's doing
Or
quite
the
well.
It is
Really
because
ancient
it's kind of
spells.
like third
Or the
place
curses,
softening,
yeah.
isn't it?
Second, but yeah, or
Oh.
third. But it seems to be switching a bit.
It does. Come on, soften him. It's like the horses, isn't it?
I think it might be nice to explore Zaya with a quest. We found ways of adding more lore to Zaya as we go anyway, without having to make a full quest
Yeah,
of it.
absolutely, yeah.
Like that. Well, we had another book just the other week with for the Soul Bearer,
Yeah.
and there's a lot more of that kind of thing we can do. Maybe even introducing the heads of the houses, which we kind of shied away from to an extreme extent.
We did, yes, yeah. It was there so we could do that at some point in the future, wasn't it, really, more than anything?
Yes, that's the reason we didn't include them.
Yes.
Although Lord Candor Hasidius might be the guy in the toilet outside the vinery. The guy you've been contacting on the lunar spells all those years, the random guy who says he's on the toilet. He's just outside the Hasidius vinery at last. We finally found him. And he might be Candor Hasidius, we might not, we don't really know.
All right,
Moving on, I think.
moving on.
Desert Treasure 1, by the way.
Yeah, easy.
By a long, long way.
I'd like to move to the suggestions, but I'm not sure. Oh, we can do. Cool. So we've got a few suggestions here. Popular ones from you guys. Actually, I'm going to go through the first one here that does not have an image with it. So first one says,
Sorry, Chris. We're just going to head over.
Yeah, sure.
Am I coming?
Yes, indeed.
Cool.
we lose the artists.
Aha!
This couch
Wow.
got empty. All
That's
right.
better.
They're prepping to show you guys the new Master Clue Scroll
Spread
Awards.
out.
So we now have these awkward gaps. All right. So this suggestion is from Dantes, who says, obtaining Master Clue Scrolls. So he says, obtain Master Clue Scrolls by finishing clues to obtain Clue Scroll parts, rather than trading in unfinished clues. Every clue you complete will give you a part. Once you have enough parts, you can trade them into Ned, and he'll repair the parts into a Master Clue Scroll.
That's a nice idea.
Hand them into who?
Ned. It could be
Ned.
anybody, but
Yeah, it'd be a scholar really rather than Ned, wouldn't it? It's a librarian or something, somebody who can put ancient parchment back together again.
Patchy.
sure.
Patchy, yeah.
Makes sense, though, because now you're at least completing the scrolls.
Yeah. No, I think that makes sense. I mean, we've had several chats about having scrolls in multiple parts that you can collect in different ways. This is just another way of doing it, so yeah, it makes sense. They seem
It's
to
like
like
we're
it.
avoiding Ash.
Hmm?
It's like we're avoiding you.
I'm very comfortable.
I like that idea. Community likes that idea. Good
Yeah.
idea. Next suggestion. Sorry, there's an image with this one. Boulder Falcon says, Leon Decour, head of the Champion Scroll Challenge, wears a blue cape with gold lions on it. You can't actually see the cape, but you get the gist of it from his plate body there. Toby and Varrock also wears this cape for some reason. Could this cape be given as a reward for those who defeat every champion?
Don't see why not.
Yeah. Jinx on you. Yeah, it's nice.
I like his shirt.
Yeah.
3 cats.
There's 3 very detailed lines on that plate body. Yeah. All right. Next question. So the next suggestion here is from OSNT. It says the RuneScape clock. As you can see, there's a clock there.
I would like to have a clock in game.
What would it be for?
Checking the time.
Most people already have a clock.
Yeah. The thing is, what it does, it standardises time across everybody. So when you are trying to arrange events with people from different time zones, you can just say RuneScape time, blah, and everybody always knows what RuneScape time is because it's always there on the clock. And
Like on the forums, actually, we already have a link, don't we, that takes you to a RuneScape clock.
But as soon as it becomes complicated to actually figure out whether you're 8 hours behind or 7 hours because it's halfway through summer and no one's quite sure if summertime is in America and UK and whatnot, that clock as a constant will always give you that answer.
It can't do any harm as long as they're okay with it turning up on the game frame.
Yeah.
RS3 has it, I think.
I think they got an in-game clock.
I think their clock works by just looking at your actual Windows clock or whatever your operating system has as its clock, and if you set that forward or backwards, you get interesting effects.
Yes, yeah.
Okay. Next suggestion. Daikichi says magic guide spells icons. So when scrolling through, you can't read that from here. When scrolling through the magic spell book, ancients for example, all spells just have an ancient staff as the icon.
Yep.
As like a display. Yeah. So he's suggesting remove those with the actual icons of the spells.
So the reason it wasn't done is that all the things in the skill guides are objects, using inventory objects.
I see.
And objects are rendered as 3D models and then rendered out to be the 36 by 32 sprite that we all know and love, with Gurad shading, etc. And nobody ever really sat down to make an object that looks like that can be rendered to a 2D sprite for all the spells. Now, what we'd obviously do, rather than sitting down and making all those models to turn back into 2D graphics, as like the skill guide normally uses, is we'd just reprogram the skill guide to be able to show the blinking spell graphics straight off, because we can program that kind of thing, can't we, boys and girls?
Probably. Sorry, we're still chatting at they
Somebody
open the
opens.
door and it makes them say silly words.
Oh, cool. What other things can we make them do that will say that make them say silly words?
So is this...
Think of a fair few things.
What job is this then? This is a dev job.
Oh yeah.
Much time? Not much time?
I can see myself spending I don't know, half a day on it. I've always felt that half a day could be spent on something else, but it could certainly be that. It would be nicer, like the player says. The thing is, we've never worried too much about players knowing what the spells are at each level in Old School Runescape, because so many of the players we deal with are people who've been playing the game for a decade, people who've been around the game as long as we have, if not longer. So trying to make the skill guides as informative as possible for new players wasn't the priority. But it's true that the game's growing, there's more players around than there used to be. And, what do they talk about over there? Yeah, so...
We're back.
So, it would be better, yeah.
All right. Next suggestion, this is the last one here. Serwin says, loot diaries used to record rare item drops. So he's got a little panel there for the blind J mods. Jed. Saying he's received 1 armadillo plate skirt, crossbow, etc.
I'm all for giving information like this to the players.
Yeah.
Would you have to get them all over again though? Because
You would have to definitely get them all over
Yeah.
again.
And that panel is running out of space.
That's going to be fun if it goes on for a couple of 100 items.
Yeah.
Also
He
going to
had
be
them categorized by like God Wars versus,
Yeah.
it sounds like a lot of work.
Yeah. Sounds like a massive interface job, but
Well, it sounds like the kind of thing where we get the people who wrote rune metrics and have them do it in the same way they did rune metrics, because also the output would be a lot more convenient for the players.
Absolutely, yeah. I mean, again, if this is thinking out of the box a bit, an app where you can see it on your phone as well, so you can see what your drop rates are on your phone, that sort of thing, which again is huge amounts of work. But if we wanted to do it in the proper way, you'd have something on the website, something in game, and something on your mobile phone that you can do the same thing.
Well, if we give them an app that can't control their GE offers, they're not going to thank us for it.
I mean, once the data's on the website, wouldn't it be too hard to get an app to look at it? Anyone be able to?
Yeah, no, absolutely. It just needs to be done safely and securely, because the issue is if you're looking at your information on the website, if you've got to log in to your app, and if we want to do other things such as GE offers and that sort of thing, then it's got to be secure. So it has to go through proper, to use a phrase which I hear more often, due diligence, to make sure it is as good as it can be.
Okay.
But that is the ideal way to do it. But that's a big ass job.
Well, the players do like their data.
Yeah.
The question is whether we could use the web team's time to do something else rather than outputting that data.
The alternative is it might be easier if we can't get as much web team time as we want, get them to create a load of APIs that spits out the data, and then fan sites can create their own things.
Frankly, I'd have settled for that in the first place.
So there's multiple ways of looking at it, but it's everything's dependent on other teams, which makes it difficult for us to say yes, let's definitely do that.
Well, it also depends on whether we want people to be able to get each other's data on demand. Because at the moment, the GE API, you just say you want it for about an item and it sends it you. If people were snippy about having anyone be able to summon their number of AGS drops,
Yeah, that's true.
they might not thank us for that.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, thinking about it, somebody gets a big drop, someone's checking that API all the time, suddenly makes that account a target. Might be worth worrying about. You'd need, maybe if you can set your private, I don't know, there's lots of discussions to have around it, all sorts of things to worry about.
Right.
But yeah, there's potential big stuff we could do if we have the chance to do it.
We should probably get on with...
Yes, long story short, data. So we're going to head over to Mod Ghost and Mod West, the two artists on the team now, to show off some cool new clue scroll rewards.
Hey guys, we're just going to show you some of the treasure trail rewards that we've been working on. So we'll just start from the top. They're all lined up here in the inventory, as you can see. So we have, first off, the bucket helm. It's kind of a comedy item that was suggested. I think this will be one of the elite rewards, and once you've acquired this reward from the elites, you can then move on to masters if you choose and get the gold bucket. Now I'm not too sure about this, it looks a bit too yellow for me, so please do say if you'd like it just to be brown with sort of like the gold trim going around it or something like that. So moving on, after that we've got the shark's head. It looks kind of cool, you can see your player's head through the mouth. And this shouldn't clip with any of the shoulder plates, so hopefully we won't get too many sort of like graphical bugs going out with this project as well, because we've learned from past experience that we shouldn't make things that kind of collide with other objects. So your shoulder plate for Bandos won't be sort of coming out here and clipping in with the head model. Now we've got some assets from Mod West, haven't we?
Yep.
Cool, let's see what we've got. We have the unicorn head.
Right, so I've just taken the unicorn heads from the current unicorns in game and then just remade them a little bit so they work on a player's head and face in the correct direction. So I've got like two variants, one for the black unicorn head and one for the white unicorn head. That's what they look like from a distance.
This is going to look great with the tux.
Yeah,
I
yeah.
think, yeah.
I'm forward to seeing that. And another thing I made is a tiara, like a fancy princess tiara. I
Don't call it that, they won't want it.
That's what Kieran called it.
Evil sorceress.
Oh yeah, evil sorceress tiara.
Tiara.
Yeah, it's pretty straightforward. And yeah, you should show off the god swords next.
Cool, yeah, we've got a trim version of the god swords now. So you can see I've kept it kind of simple. I know you guys don't like too much detail on things, so it's just a basic gold trim around all of these. So we'll just run through the god swords now. Okay, cool, that was fun. And now we've got, I'll just unequip this and take the tiara off. Now we've got the Anku kit, which is kind of cool. Yeah. So you requested a skeleton outfit, which you couldn't really do. It seemed a bit strange that an outfit would reduce you to the size of a skeleton. So we just made it an Anku, so it kind of seems a bit more plausible. So hopefully you guys will love this. I personally am really happy with this outfit.
Yeah, I like it too, it's really cool.
Cool. We've also got some more third age gear. So we've got the third age hatchet, again keeping it quite simple, and also a third age pickaxe too. A lot more simple than the third age broadsword, which had a lot of detail on it. So really trying to keep the detail down for you guys. We've also got the reverse obsidian cape. Just here, so it's just basically the colours reversed around for you. And last we've got your demon head.
Yeah.
It's still a bit glitchy, guys,
Yeah,
because
I think it's still got the blue horns, but
Yeah.
they're going to be horn coloured eventually.
We'll
And there's
just
going to
show you
be one for each type of demon. So I think there's 4 different variants, and
Yeah.
also there's lessers, greaters, and black demons.
We can also throw in some recolours too, can't we?
Yeah, for sure.
So yeah, that's pretty much it for the treasure trail stuff that we've made so far. I hope you enjoy it. There's lots more to come next week as well. But for now, we're going to be handing over to the Chronicle team that have an important God dear, I'm tripping over that line, ain't I? An important announcement to make. Oh God, let's hope that's not a meme.